welcome to Sweden.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, how are your nerves like now, just moments away from a big premiere?
All right. Hang on. Yeah, no, okay. I think, you know, I think any nerves about this film we all had before we started shooting it, I think. And then, you know, I think Fede is an incredible director, and so this really is his movie, really. But, you know, what's the worst that could happen?
What was your connection to these books prior to making this movie?
I loved them. I'd read them all, and I watched all the Swedish movies, and I watched the American version, and so, you know, I was a fan of the books as much as everybody is, I suppose. And I'd always kind of cherished her character, I suppose, as just sort of someone who was very, very unique. And there's something about Lisbeth that's very interesting, that people, you know, for someone who is completely unlikable, you know, she's constantly described in the books as people just dislike her inherently on meeting her, that she just is difficult and taciturn and quiet and odd. And the fact that somebody like that is loved is I think, amazing.
It looks like the role was quite a bit of action.
Mm-hmm.
Like it required some physical action from you. How did you prepare yourself beforehand?
I just did exercise for the first time, which was very enlightening. It turns out I've got muscles and they work, but you just have to do it like 4 or 5 times a week, and not eat any bread. Yeah, I learned all the tricks of the trade. I learned that all those buff men who are in all those films, I know what they do now. I know how they get there. Because I certainly couldn't get there. Yeah, it was just a lot there. Oh, lots of secrets. There's just a lot of waking yourself up early in order to do that. I mean, when I started shooting, I said to myself anyway that I had to make the film. I couldn't be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning in order to, you know, to be doing that. It just would send me doolally. And so, but it was, you know, a lot of it was also to do with the fact that I wasn't going to lose any weight. I think Lisbeth is really described as being emaciated in the books, and I just wasn't going to do that. And so my way into it was to just physically become as sinewy as my form will allow me to be, which isn't very, but it really, you know, it held me a good step for actually shooting it as well. It meant that I could actually support myself, and I felt strong, which was great.
Empowered?
Not so much empowered, but just you know, I often think that now, like if anyone came up to me like that I would go. You know, your reflexes become different when you're doing fight sequences and you're doing things like that all the time. You just learn a new way of kind of moving, I suppose.
In the prior, like the earlier movies, Mikael is much more of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Lisbeth really gets to take the lead.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think it's right. No, I think that's the story. That's the way, you know, when Stig Larsson wrote the books, obviously he was a journalist, and so therefore he wrote from the character that he knew, and a lot of what you experience of Lisbeth is from the outside. It's from his impressions of her. But as the books go on, you could tell that his interest in her grows in a way that he wants to understand her psychologically. And I think that it's Lisbeth's story, this one. It's very much, she's not, she's fighting the battle of her own story as opposed to trying to solve a crime or kind of anything like that. She's really sort of invited it all in without realising it, I suppose.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yes, but I worry about that. It's not a label that doesn't come without being aware of the effort that is required therefore of you, and also the effort that everybody's put in for the past hundreds and hundreds of years. I think wearing it as a label that is something you have to be committed to being in for the long fight.
What were your hopes then when people go to see these in the movies? What do you want the audience to leave with a sense of?
I never really want an audience to do anything. I think it's completely up to them. But I really hope that, you know, people take her, like, you know, are able to take her to their heart as much as they were able to in the books. But other than that, it's completely up to them how they feel about it, I suppose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.